The Lost Puppy in the Park. This story is about a young girl who loses her puppy in the park. The story describes her search for the puppy and the help she receives from strangers. It was a bright and sunny afternoon when Emily decided to take her puppy, Max, to the park. Max was a small, fluffy golden retriever with big brown eyes that melted the hearts of everyone who saw him. Emily loved taking Max to the park because he enjoyed running around and playing fetch with his favorite red ball. Today was no different, and Max was full of energy as he sprinted across the grass. Emily kept a close eye on Max as he darted back and forth, chasing after birds and exploring every nook and cranny of the park. She laughed as Max tried to catch a butterfly that fluttered just out of his reach. The park was busy that day, with families having picnics, children playing on the swings, and other dog owners walking their pets. Emily was careful to stay close to Max, but as she stopped to tie her shoelace, she took her eyes off him for just a moment. When she looked up, Max was gone. Emily's heart skipped a beat. She called out his name, "Max! Max, where are you?" But there was no response. She began to panic as she frantically scanned the area, hoping to catch a glimpse of his golden fur. She ran to the spot where she last saw him, but there was no sign of Max. Emily's mind raced as she thought about what to do next. She knew she had to stay calm, but the thought of losing Max was overwhelming. She decided to start by retracing her steps. She walked back to the entrance of the park, calling out Max's name as she went. She asked everyone she passed if they had seen a small golden retriever, but no one had. As Emily continued her search, tears began to well up in her eyes. Max was more than just a pet to her. He was her best friend. She couldn't bear the thought of something happening to him. Just as she was about to lose hope, a kind elderly woman approached her. The woman had a gentle smile and a soft voice. "Are you looking for a lost puppy, dear?" she asked. "Yes," Emily replied, trying to hold back her tears. "His name is Max. He's a golden retriever, and he's only a few months old." The woman nodded sympathetically. "I think I saw a puppy matching that description near the pond. He seemed a bit scared. Poor thing. Why don't you check there?" Emily thanked the woman and hurried towards the pond. As she got closer, she could see a small figure near the water's edge. Her heart leaped with joy as she recognized Max. He was sitting by the pond, looking a bit lost and unsure of what to do. Emily called out to him, and as soon as Max heard her voice, he perked up and ran towards her. Tears of relief streamed down Emily's face as she scooped Max up into her arms. She hugged him tightly, grateful that he was safe. Max wagged his tail and licked her face, as if to say, "I'm sorry I wandered off." Emily sat down on a bench near the pond, still holding Max close. She took a deep breath and realized how lucky she was to have found him. She promised herself that she would never take her eyes off him again. As they sat together, the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the park. Emily knew that this was a day she would never forget. From that day on, Emily made sure to keep Max on a leash whenever they went to the park. She also started bringing along his favorite toys to keep him entertained and close by. Max, on the other hand, seemed to have learned his lesson as well. He stayed by Emily's side and didn't wander off again. The experience had been a scary one, but it also brought Emily and Max closer together. They continued to visit the park regularly, but now Emily was extra cautious. She knew how easily a fun day at the park could turn into a nightmare if she wasn't careful. As they walked home that evening, Emily looked down at Max and smiled. She realized that losing Max, even for a short time, had made her appreciate him even more. Max was not just her pet. He was her companion, her protector, and her friend. She couldn't imagine her life without him, and she was determined to keep him safe. The park might have been a place of fun and adventure, but it was also a place where anything could happen. Emily had learned that the hard way, but she was grateful for the lesson. She knew that Max was a part of her family, and she would do anything to keep him safe. As they reached their front door, Emily gave Max one last hug before letting him inside. She watched as he trotted off to his bed, tired from the day's excitement. Emily smiled as she thought about how much she loved him. Max was her little lost puppy who had found his way back to her, and she would never let him go again.